I can't wait to go through another playthrough, man. These fights are just so fun. It's just always such a good time. It honestly feels pretty relaxing. That feeling of entering flow state in a fight is like nothing else. I guess I could take a shower. Has been like 8 months. Nah. We're finally doing an Elden Ring video. I'm not going to waste too much time introducing the video. The quick rundown of the video is we're going to be ranking every major boss in Elden Ring based on quality. What falls into quality, you may ask?
Shut the fuck up and I'll tell you.
Quality is going to include things such as their moveset, their design, their arena, their theme, and any other small things that play into the boss as a whole. We're going to start with the worst quality boss and work our way up to the best of the bunch. Without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so I think the worst quality boss in the game is going to go to Metyr. This fight is just honestly nothing special. It's a little
Cum shot
that can become a clone of yourself, and you can very easily just cheese this boss if you just take off all your weapons and shit, and then you go in there and he's basically like a homeless person, because then you can just re-equip your shit, spank him to the ground, and move on. There's just nothing going on here. The arena and theme are mid. He's not like a big quest boss. He doesn't drop anything cool. He's just there. He's there.
Weak? You. I know. You're a fucking disappointment.
Okay, well, in between that ranking and this one, my headset decided to collapse on itself, so we have a new headset now. Moving on, though, we got something similar to Metyr. It's gonna be Gideon. He's another NPC fight. You walk in, he's talking about, he knew I would come. I don't know how he knew that. You can just go up, you can get free hits in. This fight is either really easy, or he kills you, and then you walk in, and he's just throwing out every spell in the book at you. He just kind of feels like a weird hiccup in the pacing of the end game. Okay, next up, I have Ornstein and Smo from Temu, aka Godskin Duo. This is maybe the worst duo fight ever. Both these bosses on their own are just mid. There's nothing like super special about them. They tried to do something similar with Ornstein and Smo and put pillars in the arena to separate them. However, the pillars break and they have ranged fireballs that they can just yeet over them, so the pillars might as well not even be there. They're also just not designed to be a duo fight. They don't wait in between the other one's attacks. They both attack at the same time, and it just becomes a shit show. They also just keep respawning after you kill them because their health bar is so massive that you have to kill around 4 or 5 of them. I think the only saving grace here is their theme, which is honestly solid. Next, I have Regal Ancestor Spirit. It's just kind of lackluster for a remembrance boss. Kind of feels like something you would just run into out in like a field. Like, there's not a whole lot going for him. Soundtrack is pretty unique. It kind of fits the flow of the fight, but the fight doesn't really have a flow is the issue. The boss can run around in the air. He teleports away. He can heal from animals, but he can also just be a really easy fight. Like, I'm pretty sure I killed him in under 2 minutes. So just mid. This may come as a surprise, but next up I actually have our first DLC boss on the list. It's going to be Metyr. This is by far my least favorite fight in the DLC. There's just nothing really going for him here. The design is this cool, like, finger demon.
Was my nickname in high school.
But other than that, the arena is just mid. He's also just so tedious to get to. You have to go to the cathedral, a ruins that's out of the way, back to the cathedral, another ruins that's out of the way, back to the cathedral, into the Diddy dungeon, then fight him after blowing the horn. He has this helicopter attack where he just goes up and spins and just body slams you. Second phase gives him this cool looking laser attack, but it seems just about unavoidable with how much space it covers. There's just nothing here I'm really enjoying. Next up is going to be Lichdragon Fortissax, aka Lichdragon Fortissax. This is a remembrance boss for doing Fia's questline. It's at the end of Deeproot Depths after killing Fia's champions, which is just another slop NPC fight. Before I get into some of the bad things, I do want to mention that his design is so cool looking. The Deathblight spikes and the gold and black scales with the red lightning looks great. With all that aside though, the fight is what sucks here. There's Deathblight in the arena, which can just instantly fuck your day. Proximity lightning strikes that occasionally zap you. Adding on to that lightning, it also sucks because the entire arena is in this very shallow water, which allows all of that lightning to linger and go farther than it normally would. He's honestly just kind of forgetful because I don't often do Fia's quest, and there's nothing that I'm going to Deeproot Depths for. Next up, I have Fire Giant. The spectacle of this fight is actually really cool looking. He's just towering above you. I do like that they let you use Torrent for this fight to catch up to him when he's rolling around. There are just quite a few downsides here, one of them being the camera. Because he's so
Humongous.
the camera can be a little wonky. I think his fire attacks in the second phase are also just more annoying than they are cool looking. This downward fire breath just coats the arena and kills you 99% of the time. I do really enjoy the cutscene here. I think it is so cool and larger than life to see. But I think he just has too much health for a fight that I don't enjoy all that much. I do have one question for him though.
What that belly mouth do?
Next up, I got another DLC boss. It's gonna be Commander Gaius. First thing this dude does when you enter the arena is he just charges full speed at you. You have to almost frame perfect dodge this or you're getting hit every single attempt when he does this. He's got a handful of good combos here that involve him and the boar alternating attacks, but I think some of the boar's body hitboxes and the gravity AoEs in the second phase are a little jank. For being a remembrance boss, I think he's just kind of plopped in this field in the backyard. When you kill him for the first time, it's nice getting those 5 fragments behind him, but on repeat playthroughs, you're going to be leveled up, and that's not as much of a reward for killing him. They give you the option to use Torrent in this fight, but it's
Absolutely fucking useless.
this guy just doesn't bring enough to the table compared to some of the other bosses in the DLC. Let's just get another horseback boss out of the way. It's going to be Loretta from the Haligtree. I would say she's one of the better horseback bosses because of her weapon that she can infuse with magic and her magic attacks. However, she almost doesn't feel like a boss sometimes. It's mostly because by the time I'm in the Haligtree, I'm dripped out, I'm leveled up, and my blood is pumping because I'm heading to Malenia. I don't even often remember that Loretta is here. I do also have to knock her score a little bit because you basically fight her 2 times because you fight her back in Caria Manor, if anybody remembers that place. But for what she is, I think she's a decent boss. Next up is going to be Rennala, Queen of the Full Moon. I do want to mention that on the first playthrough, this is a really good fight, but on repeat playthroughs, I think the first phase gimmick, it's just too easy and doesn't add anything to the fight. When second phase comes around, Ronnie helps her lock in and rechannel her prime, but even then, the fight only becomes okay. She has a lot of cool magic, such as Comet Azure and her moon attack, but she can also summon enemies, which the worst part is when she summons this giant dragon.
I think she's just decent for where she is in the game, but honestly, she's just kind of a pushover. Next up, I have Romina, Saint of the Bud. I swear I don't hate the DLC, I just think there's a few bosses that could be a little bit better. My main complaint about this boss is I think it just feels a bit lackluster for where she is. Most people are going to fight her after killing Messmer since you get his kindling. That's a peak boss fight. And then you get to her and it's kind of just whatever. And then after her, you get the final area with one of the hardest bosses in the entire franchise. So it's kind of just a weird placement for her in my opinion. Like, why is Chaos Witch Quelaag's cousin trying to make a name for herself? I miss you, Quelaag. The fight here is just okay. I think the centipedes can be a bit much at sometimes, but they're pretty manageable. Second phase transition can also be hit or miss depending on if you're close to her or not. But I think overall her moveset is decent and gives her this spot on the list. Okay, next I have Astel, Naturalborn of the Void. Holy Aura, what a title. When you walk into this fight, you're greeted with a peak boss design, peak arena look, and a sniper shot from across the map. The design is just this giant
Space anal bead.
Even with all that peak though, the fight is just meh. Attacks aren't great, but they're not bad. I think when he spams the ground AoE attack, it can be a bit annoying. But overall, the moveset's okay. I wish it wasn't so deep into Ranni's quest line, even though I usually do her quest anyways. Next up, I got Putrescent Knight. I think all these giant coffins in this purple hue underground area looks great. His arena is also giving me some Dark Eater Metyr vibes from Dark Souls 3. I really do like the flow of this fight. It's not too hard, but it's pretty engaging with some ranged attacks, AoE attacks, and just great combos. I think the fire hitboxes on his transition can sometimes be a little iffy because it feels like I'll jump them, but then I still land in nothing and take damage. Some of my gripes about this guy are just that falling down the giant pit every time is like not the biggest fan of it. I also just wish I knew more about him because he just looks like you told somebody to draw a guy riding a horse, but this person has never seen a horse or a person ever. But he's just a decent boss. Coming up next, I have Haligtree Avatar. There's not too much build up or anything to this guy, but I think the arena being at the base of the tree is a cool concept, with him also being this like dried out sunflower. Getting into the moveset, I think he has some good arm swipe combos that have these thorn attacks, but the thorns can be a little annoying sometimes. Fight can also feel like it drags on because this guy has not one, not two, but three
Whole health bars that you have to take out.
Each phase adds a new move to it, so it kind of spices up the moveset. But if you hit the head of the sunflower, it does significantly more damage, so it can go fast some of the time. I think for being a boss that doesn't have much build-up or a cutscene, this is a pretty solid boss. Alright, now I got a sleeper all the way from Stormveil in Limgrave. It's gonna be Godrick the Grafted. Man, the presentation here is so goated. You can really tell they wanted to make this guy perfect for early on. He's a bit on the easier side, but man, the spectacle of his design and the cutscenes and the soundtrack is just great. The dragon in second phase adds a lot of cool fire attacks to some of his first phase attacks. I think this is such an underrated boss, and it honestly deserves more praise. You can also just go look at his little
Shriveled up dead.
There's also this dude just curb stomping him, but you know, he's kind of chill. Okay, next I have two more DLC bosses, so let's just get them out of the way. First up is going to be Rellana. I want to start by saying this fight is one of my favorites in the DLC. I think it is just so engaging, hard, and fun all at the same time. There's great pacing with her dual sword attacks, the magic attacks, and the fire attacks. I think it's great. However, the presentation here is just really holding her back. There's close to nothing about her for being a remembrance boss, and she also has ties to some big names like Rennala and Messmer. Her arena is also just this random chamber in a castle. I think it's a really good boss, but I'm wanting more from her. Okay, I got the first major boss from the DLC, and that's going to be Divine Beast. The cutscene here just gives you chills. It makes you scared for what you're about to go up against.
What the hell is even that?
I think the concept here of two people controlling it like a Chinese festival dragon is cool to the point where it almost makes it feel sentient. I think it has some cool moves, and the way it twists its body to attack you is really cool looking. Second phase elemental transformations are just peak looking too. It takes moves that you know, and it can add lightning AoEs, it can add frost stomps, it can add tornado effects. It really just keeps you on your toes.
Your big, sexy toes.
Yeah, the theme is also pretty good here. Now, next up, I have Starscourge Radahn. Radahn is so goated, he makes the list twice. Need I say more? This fight just has so much aura with the build-up, the lore, and the spectacle. The Festival of Champions is such a cool way to introduce him, and the cutscene just hypes him up so hard.
Sky.
It takes you and all of these great champions to take him down at his weakest. This dude is a powerhouse that is still able to hit hard and move at speeds you didn't know existed. I also have to mention that second phase transition, leaping into the air and coming down as a meteor. What else can I say? It's just... Now he has all of these gravity attacks that just add so many new factors to the fight. One of the only things I dislike here would just be having to run across the field every fight. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but I just wish I didn't have to do it every single time. Alright, next up is going to be Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. I think this giant serpent in the lava in corpse-filled chamber is just such a good look here. I don't have too much to say about the snake other than he is the
Throat goat, apparently.
because once the demon inside of Rykard is awakened, he pulls out this fucking skyscraper-sized sword from God knows where.
He kinda jealous of that mouth goat.
Second phase is where I really have a lot to say about him. Shit can get insane here, which makes the fight feel epic, but at times chaotic. It really makes you feel like you're fighting this absolute tank, and you also feel like you're doing a lot of damage because the Serpent Hunter has these new wind attacks now. While I do like the look of the Serpent Hunter, I'm not the biggest fan of being locked into using that one weapon. It can kind of kill the replayability of this fight because you have to use that weapon every single time you fight him. But honestly, I think I can tolerate it for everything else this guy brings to the table. Now I got the final boss of the base game, Radagon / Elden Beast. I'm going to be ranking them together because you always fight them together. Let's just start out with that cutscene. Man, this feels like such an epic fight with how it's introduced. The theme being the main menu theme, just, oh my god. For the final boss, this truly feels like such a epic fight. I really enjoy fighting Radagon. I think the only downsides would just be some of the holy AoEs and the teleporting can be whatever. He's a really solid fight. Once you kill him, Elden Beast just fucking turns him into a sword, and then he brings you to this just amazing looking arena. The theme changes to this like euphoric sounding track, and it just changes the whole vibe. I don't like Elden Beast as much as Radagon, but I don't think he's bad. bad. I'm so glad they made it to where you can ride Torrent here, though, because before then...
Oh my god, fuck this dude.
The arena can feel a bit too open at times when he keeps running away, and I think Elden Stars can just be annoying with the spammy projectiles, but it doesn't hurt the fight enough for me to hate it. Honestly, if anything, I wish it was a tad bit harder for being the final boss of the game, but I think the spectacle is more what they were going for here, and I'm honestly fine with that.
Next up, we got another big boy, and that's going to be Placidusax. I love the lore surrounding this boss of him being the first lord, and you have to reverse time to go back and see him now, which, by the way, is such a cool spectacle and design for the arena. I think it works with how big he is and how much he likes to fly around and teleport. It just works so well. I actually don't mind how much health this boss has because I enjoy the fight, not like some other
Big ginger fuck.
He has some very cool visual attacks, such as the nuke, the thundercloud, and the giant fucking Godzilla beams in second phase. One gripe I do have about this guy that keeps him from being in high A to S tier is surprisingly the run back. His isn't terrible, but it's definitely the longest in the game. I don't enjoy that, but once I'm in the action, I can put that behind me. Goated boss. I think another sleeper from the base game is going to be Morgott. This dude has so much aura. Cutscene just calling out all the big dogs is great. We also know this dude from day one. So coming back to him and just showing him
What the fuck is up?
feels so good. Flow of this fight, the arena, is all just great. He has attacks for just about every range. He has daggers if you get close, sword swipes at mid-range, and then he can pull out his spear to either charge or throw at you if you're far away. I always love this fight when I get to this point in the game. It just gives me a little fuzzy feeling inside. I just wish there was a little bit more. I don't know what I want him to have, but he still makes it to top of A tier.
Tarnished, not but a fool.
You don't know me. I will burn this planet down.
Oh no.
For this next entry, I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
I am Malenia, Blade of Miquella.
I have a lot of good things to say about this fight, and one really bad thing to say about this fight. I think most of you know what the bad thing is. I think her moves are great. I think the sword play here and her movement is a really fun and engaging fight. She has lifesteal, which is where if she hits you, she can heal. However, once you know her moveset, that kind of becomes irrelevant. I always love these arenas that are in kind of like flower fields or just they look grounded. Before I talk about phase 2, let's get it out the way.
Fuck the waterfowl dance. Fuck that.
Arguably my least favorite single attack in the entirety of this fucking game. I would go so far as to say Waterfowl Dance makes or breaks her moveset. Because if she doesn't have Waterfowl Dance, this fight becomes 20 times easier. If she does it directly on top of you, it's nearly impossible to dodge. It's doable to dodge if you're already at range, but she always does some bullshit where she doesn't attack, so you go in for attack, and then she fucking traps you. Second phase transition is beautiful. I love it. I honestly wish this fight was mandatory in some regard because she is so far out of the way. I think for as iconic as she is, I wish she was mandatory. That way everybody would have to fight. I know most people have, but man, she's a cool boss. Second phase is about the same as first phase. She has a few AoE explosions to some attacks, and she has this Aeonia explosion, and one of my least favorite attacks is probably her Scarlet Rock clone attack. It's a lot easier to dodge than Waterfowl, but it can still sometimes be jank. I think this is honestly an exceptional boss, and she makes it way at the top of A tier with ease. Next boss is going to be a boss I am very familiar with, and it's going to be the hardest boss in the game. Promise Consort Radahn. I genuinely think this this is the hardest boss I've ever fought in any of the Souls games, to be honest. This took me so many attempts to beat for the first time and on some repeat playthroughs. I think his moveset is pretty good, other than some of the light beams in Phase 2. That can be a bit much sometimes, but it kind of makes you adjust to where you're rolling, so it's not the worst thing. Some of the phantom attacks in Phase 2 are also a bit weird because sometimes they hit you, sometimes they don't. What the fuck? I do want to give a quick mention here to his spectacle and cool factor. I mean, man, what a beautifully designed everything, honestly. Phase 1 is honestly a really fun fight once you get it down. It kind of helps to prepare you for Phase 2, where he uses a lot of similar attacks. And once you get to Phase 2 and learn where to dodge the holy beams, Phase 1 can actually just be an engaging fight in practice. One downside to this boss that I didn't think of until I just recently beat it again, the final cutscene is a little lackluster for this being the final boss in the game and the DLC. I just wish there was a bit more going on there. But other than that, I think this boss is really good. But I think just because he's the most difficult, I don't think that gives him the title of being the best quality boss. I'll also play a bit of his theme here because I can't go without mentioning it. If you've made it this far, you've officially made it to the VIP club. This is the S tier. This is the big leagues. I'm going to start off with one of my favorite bosses in the base game, Godfrey, first Elden Lord. Walking into this fight, and this dude just tells you, hey, I'm the first Elden Lord. I'm here to rock your shit.
I'm here to dick you down.
This fight always gets me hyped up. It's just such a beautiful and engaging fight against a true warrior. It's not some giant beast or outlandish being. It's just a fucking dude. I will say I do like Godfrey better than his second phase of Horaloo. I think it just works a little better than Horaloo because I'm not the biggest fan of all the grab attacks. I can't even put into words how much I just enjoy this fight. He is just doing anything in his power to kill you, and you truly feel that the entire fight. Once again, I'll toss a snippet of the theme in here because it's one of my favorites in the game. Finally got another DLC boss, and it's going to be Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flame. I want to start off with the one kind of negative I have about this fight, and that's just the fact that you have to kill this dying old man at the start. Kind of wish you only had to do that once, but I understand why it's there, because the cutscene has to play to see his transformation. If I had to pick something bad, that's going to be it. I love the design of this area. Torrent does not, because he is
shitting bricks
to the point where I can't even use them. I'm not going to hold it against the boss in general, but having to walk through this entire area every playthrough can be a bit tedious. I love just the almost alien-like feeling of this boss with the flaming head and the distorted body. It's just peak. The fight honestly makes me enter flow state. It just feels so good. Second phase adds a lot of madness flames to a lot of his attacks, which for once I actually like the AoE attacks. I think they look really cool. They don't add a ton of difficulty, but it's something you need to be aware of. Honestly, just an amazing fight for something that I didn't expect. This little guy doesn't necessarily scream S tier boss fight, but hey, here we are. Taking the number 4 spot, I have the Lord of Blood himself, Mohg. I think it's Mohg, but for editing purposes, I'm going to be calling him Mohg. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but once again, the design of this boss is just great. The horns coming out of him and just him being this, like, blood demon is so cool. His arena can feel a bit crammed at sometimes, especially in second phase with all of the blood flame on the ground. But honestly, the only attack I dislike now is when he does the blood shower, because
what the fuck is a shower?
I like that it kind of adds range to his fight in the second phase with him flying, slinging blood flame. It just changes the flow. It makes it feel like it's two different fights. The Nihil attack is also great. Just That transition to go into second phase and that cool factor, if you're not prepared, is just stunning. I'm going to let my co-host here introduce this number 3 spot.
Bayle! Vile Bayle! Oh, terror incarnate!
Thank you, Egon. This is probably the best dragon in the entire FromSoft catalog. Despite being battle-scarred from fighting the Dragonlord Placidusax, this dude is not any weaker. Unlike some other dragon fights, this fight makes you stay focused on his head. Makes it a better fight when you're fighting him head-on rather than just sticking to his ass. I can't say enough about the spectacle of this fight. Just him as a whole, the arena on top of Jagged Peak. He even has a whole amazing quest character designated to him. Second phase ups the ante with one of the best second phase transitions in the game, and it just adds a whole new level of difficulty. All of the fire effects and the new lightning attacks are so hard but fun to fight. Yeah, I just love Egon's quest line. Constantly hearing him just yelling and cursing Bayle. And then fighting alongside him is just so fun and honestly cool to do, even though he doesn't
fucking do anything.
But yeah, just wow. 2 spot is going to be the last base game boss I have on the list. It's going to be Maliketh. If you're going to the gym, I promise you, try and find a Maliketh edit. You will have the biggest lift of all time. This dude's cutscene and voice lines in this fight are so damn good.
Become my blade once more.
They just absolutely cooked with this boss. While Beast Clergyman doesn't bring a whole lot in terms of aura, it is not a bad fight by any means. It's still engaging and a pretty decent challenge. I almost wish that they had a health bar for Beast Clergyman and a health bar for Maliketh rather than being one health bar split in 2. Maliketh's moveset is just so fun, engaging, and hard. I love how he takes use of the entire arena by running around, jumping in the air and slashing you, jumping on the pillars. It just looks so cool and like just what a spectacle, man. This is by far my favorite fight in the base game, and there's only one other boss that can even compare. Taking the number 1 spot, I have Messmer. This guy did not disappoint at all. They hyped him up in the trailers. They hyped him up in his cutscene. They hyped him up in his design. And my God, I was blown away still. This fight is just so good. He keeps up the pace of the fight at all times, but he never makes it feel unfair during any of his attacks. He leaves good enough windows to attack, but he never just stands around and does nothing. I love that. His fire being this really dark red in this very dark room makes it stand out and just pop all the more. He also has maybe one of my favorite combos in the entire game with this giant flurry of his spear and the fire explosion. Background and the presentation here on all fronts just beats out every other boss. Going into second phase,
Bro whips out his snake.
he has some of the same moves, but he also can transform or bring out snakes to attack. He's a hard fight on top of that. Like, I can never get enough of him. It may be a predictable entry, but I just think there's no doubt that this is the best quality boss in this game.
Whoa, 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 whoa. This is aura. This is aura.
All right, and there you guys have it. The ranking of quality for every major boss in Elden Ring and the DLC. I've been wanting to do this video forever, and after seeing the good reception of my Dark Souls video, figured better time to do it than now. Had a lot of fun with this one. Maybe a minute before the next vid because this vid is taking forever. As always, appreciate any support you guys give to the channel. Forget to like and subscribe. You don't miss out on the next one. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.